Today is Thomas Markle's birthday. You know what? I had no idea that today was Thomas Markle's birthday until I saw one so-called role expert, a carnival of so-called expert called Richard Kay, who writes columns for Daily Mail, saying that Meghan discarded her father, Thomas Markle. My family, allow me first of all to just start by saying this. Anyone can be a father, but not everyone can be a true, real dad. Anyone can be a father, but not everyone can be a true and real dad. And Thomas Markle has never been a true and real dad to Meghan. My family, once again, we are seeing victim blaming. Blaming the victim for refusing to have any kind of relationship with her abuser. My family, based on Harry's memoir Sperm, we have learned the reason why Meghan even saw the need to go to court in a court case versus Daily Mail is because Thomas Markle handed Meghan's private letter to Daily Mail. Once again, you're seeing tabloids abusing Meghan for refusing to have nothing to do with Thomas Markle, her abuser. My family, and I their standpoint. I get their views, basically what they're trying to achieve. My family, let's say, for instance, hypothetically, Meghan would say, hey, look, let me reach out to Thomas Markle. Let's meet up and guess what? I'll have you in my life. I'll introduce you to Archie, to Lilibet. Let's say Meghan woke up in the morning and said all that. Do you know what? Role experts writing for Daily Mail like Richard Kay, bullies like Piers Morgan, bullies like Dan Wootton would also come out and say, look, Meghan, if you have allowed Thomas Markle in your life, why not us? Why not us? Because there is no difference between Thomas Markle and Piers Morgan, Dan Wootton. There is no difference at all between Thomas Markle and Dan Wootton and Piers Morgan. All of them have engaged in abusing Harry and especially Meghan. Thomas Markle, in one of his episodes on YouTube, even went after Lilibet, my family. At the time, it was around the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, whereby he was upset. He called it trashy for Lilibet to be having a birthday around the same time as the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Is that the person who Harry and Meghan should allow their daughter Lilibet to be around? My family, is that the person that should be in Archie, Lilibet, should be in their life? My family, because if Meghan is to allow Thomas Markle into her life to meet up with Lilibet and Archie, well then she might as well allow Piers Morgan, Dan Wootton, everyone who has ever abused her into her life. My family, that's just my point of view. Because, my family, we have seen what Thomas Markle has done. How can a father even go on record and say, hey, look, I'm willing to testify in favor of Daily Mail against my own daughter, to assist a tabloid that illegally published Meghans' letter without Meghans' consent. They knew doing that was illegal. They just did not care. Because they knew Meghan was not protected by the palace, by the royal family, by Charles, by William, by Kate Camilla. Meghan was being fed to them. And that's why they illegally published Meghan's letter. Never did they think Meghan would dare sue them. My family, well, they were wrong. Very, very wrong. And my family, someone like Thomas Markle, was one of the people who said, hey, look, I'm going to testify against Meghan. Is that the person that Meghan should invite into her life? Should allow next to Archie Lilibet? My family, we must understand and get this. Abusers who have been abusing Harry and Meghan want a way in their lives to have access to Prince Harry, Meghan, Archie, Lilibet. They want that access. They crave that access. Right now, they have zero access to Harry and Meghan, but they want it so badly. They have no stories about Harry and Meghan. All they have is creating opinion-based negative columns about Harry and Meghan to try and claim that somehow Meghan is at fault for wanting nothing to do with Thomas Markle. My family, you owe nothing to your abusers. Meghan owes nothing to her abusers. My family, I recall in the Harry and Meghan docuseries, Doria Ragland was approached by paparazzi. And they told her, hey, look, we just want to make some money. Just give us anything. Tell us any story about Meghan. Give us something, a scoop, anything. Give us something. And then we'll leave. We'll leave because Doria was being harassed by paparazzi. And Doria said, no, that's my child. I have nothing to say. And that is all Thomas Markle also needed to say. That is my daughter. I have nothing to say to you. That is all he needed to say. And he would be a part of Meghan's life. He will be in Meghan's life. He would have met Archie, Lilibet. All he had to say was, I have nothing to say. That's my child. Just as Doria did. But my family, what has Thomas Markle chosen to do? He has chosen to work with the same people who viciously abuse his own child. What kind of father, what kind of dad, a real dad, stands there, watches as bullies abuse his own daughter, then sides with the bullies over his own child, or because they're giving him a paycheck? What kind of father does that? And then somehow it's Meghan's fault. It's Meghan who needs to speak to Thomas Markle. It's Harry and Meghan who need to travel to Mexico to go see Thomas Markle. Somehow it's always on Harry and Meghan to be the ones to reach out to their abusers. Isn't that what abusers like the most? For the victims of their abuse to be the ones to reach out. My family, it's true really. You know why? Because just a couple of days, even just yesterday, I spoke about this. Of how the media, tabloids, were writing stories about Prince Harry, that he has made a phone call to Prince William behind Megan's back, saying to William, William, I want to return. My family. That is the narrative being spread. And my family, and yet, clearly, those are just blatant lies. Lies about Prince Harry. They want it to be true that Harry, the victim of abuse, reaches out to his abusers, to someone who physically assaulted Prince Harry, to someone who tried turning Harry against Meghan, and when he failed, he responded by physically assaulting Harry. They tell him, don't tell anyone. Like all abusers tell their victims, don't talk about it. Don't say a single word, Harry. Don't tell Meghan who I came to abuse in front of you. Don't tell Meghan what I did to you. My family, the character of an abuser. But somehow, once again, you see the narrative, how it plays out. It's Harry who's the one who's supposed to reach out to Prince William. It's Meghan and Harry who should reach out to Thomas Markle. My family, things don't work that way. Things don't work that way. My family, it's been 7 years of abusing Harry and Meghan. And you think the abusers have learned a thing or two. But my family, it's like they've learned nothing. It's like they've learned nothing really. You know? It's been 7 years of abuse towards Harry and Meghan. 7 years of this hate campaign towards Harry and Meghan. You would think the abusers, the trolls, would have learned something by now. But clearly, my family, they've learned nothing. Nothing. Because by now, they should know Harry and Meghan won't engage or reach out to their abusers. My family, because if Harry and Meghan were to reach out to the abusers, they would have done that in the UK by playing the game of the UK tabloid press. That is what Harry and Meghan would have done. If they were to reach out to the abusers, they would have invited Piers Morgan to a dinner with them so they could get good press. They would have invited Dan Wootton to a meeting, a dinner, a party with them. But my family, Harry and Meghan, have never ever done that. Never. Instead, they packed up and fled the UK. So abusing Harry and Meghan to force them to speak to you, to force them to give you interviews like what Piers Morgan has been crying about and hoping, will happen. He has actually demanded an interview with Harry and Meghan. Imagine that after all the abuse. And the thing is, sometimes it works. For people who have been targeted by Piers Morgan, it has worked. That strategy has worked. Normally it works. Members of the royal family come and invite you to dinners in exchange to give them good press. But for Harry and Meghan, that strategy has not worked. Abusing them has only driven them away from the UK. You would think people would see that by now. But yet, you have royal expert being like, it's so bad how Meghan discarded her father, Thomas Markle. It's so cruel. My family, years ago, something happened that already I have spoken about. Even Harry and Meghan mentioned some things about it in the Harry and Meghan docuseries, whereby Meghan and Harry were trying to reach out to Thomas Markle. That is what Harry and Meghan were trying to do, to reach out to Thomas Markle. And my family, Meghan said this about basically, what happened. My family, Megan said that in a text message that Thomas sent them, he called Megan a full name. He said, Megan. And Megan said, never in my whole life has he ever called me Megan, saying that someone else clearly was using his phone or someone had taken his phone. My family. That is what basically Megan said, my family. Let me just read you some excerpts from a public legal document, that I've seen from the Harry and Meghan docu-series from Meghan's phone. Here is what Meghan told Thomas Markle, who apparently she should reach out to. Here is what Meghan said. Back in 2018, just a few days before Harry and Meghan's wedding, here is what Meghan sent to Thomas Markle. Please, can I ask that you stop talking to any press? You haven't returned any of our 20 plus calls since we all spoke on Saturday morning, which only adds to the hurt that you have been causing. We aren't angry, but we do really need to speak to you. Love, M and H. M standing for Meghan and H standing for Prince Harry. My family. And then someone texted back on his phone. And here is what that person said. I've done nothing to hurt you, from Thomas' phone. Meghan or anyone else, I know nothing about 20 phone calls. I'm sorry, my heart attack. Is there any inconvenience for you? Thomas' phone replied. My family. And my family, Meghan then says that my dad used a lot of emojis whenever they were speaking. And a lot of ellipses and dot. And the messages she was receiving were different, my family. The messages were opposite. And those messages, my family, Thomas would refer to Meghan as Meghan in her full name. In reality, Meghan says Thomas has never ever called, her Meghan. She's always called her Meg. In terms of text messages, she's always called, Meghan, Meg. My family. And my family, Meghan said this. I was like, he has never ever called me Meghan any day that I have lived on this planet. Never. And then Meghan told Prince Harry that all my friends call me Meg and my parents call me Meg. And I was like, that's not my dad. That's not my dad. And Thomas Markle then responded, if only I had died, the new guys could pretend to be sad. The text messages said. So then we knew Harry and Meghan then replied that Thomas' phone had been compromised. In reality, that is not what happened, my family. I mean, yes, it had been compromised, but the person who was texting, my family, in my opinion, is a Daily Mail columnist who had been photographed with Thomas Markle. Her name is Caroline Graham. My family. It's also believed that Caroline Graham went to live just next door to Thomas Markle. They were hoping that Meghan would fly from UK to Mexico to go and see Thomas Markle. Then swarm her with cameras, a huge security and safety risk to Meghan. That is what they were hoping for. My family, even we learned based on court documents, that Charles was berating Prince Harry over the interviews that Thomas Markle was creating. And my family, based on those legal documents, we learn that Charles was somehow, he wanted for Meghan to fly to Mexico, go there and ask Thomas Markle in person to stop the attacks and the interviews. That's what Charles wanted. And Meghan said, even if I did that, it won't work. So let me do this. Let me write a letter. She asked the Queen for advice, and the Queen said, hey, write a letter. And Meghan did that. And the letter that Meghan wrote was leaked to the Daily Mail. My family, Thomas Markle handed that letter to the Daily Mail. My family, he handed that letter over to Daily Mail, which caused Meghan so much pain and hurt, my family. It caused Meghan so much pain and harm, my family. At one point even, back then, my family, when Harry, Meghan were texting Thomas Markle, Harry then said this to Thomas Markle, Tom, it's Harry. Please answer your phone. I need to know this is actually you because it doesn't sound like you at all. Thomas Markle would not answer the phone call because there was someone else texting my family. And my family also, here is what Prince Harry said in the Harry and Meghan docuseries about Thomas and Meghan's broken relationship. Harry said this, and I quote, of course, it's sad what happened. She had a father before this. And now Meghan does not have a father. And I shouldered that because if Meghan wasn't with me, then her dad would still be her dad. Harry expresses guilt because of Meghan's broken relationship with Thomas. My family, Harry, it's not your fault. It isn't. Can you see Prince Harry feeding his children to the UK media so he can get good press for himself? You don't see that happening. So Prince Harry, it is not your fault that Thomas Markle decided that he valued 30 pieces of silver more than he valued his own child. Harry, that's not your fault. Because if you are a real dad, no amount of money will ever sway you to participating in vile abuse, racism, harassment of your own child. No amount of money can ever sway you, my family. No amount of money can ever sway you, my family. And my family, I'm talking about what Harry said in season 1, episode 3. Please kindly go and just re-watch it, my family. It's an amazing documentary on Netflix on what Harry and Meghan have been through. Now, my family, what K. Richard is doing is victim blaming. Blaming the victim for the actions of the abuser. My family, it's the hallmark of even phone hacking, really, like what happened, during phone hacking. My family, we saw what happened even in what has come out in court, whereby you have a tablet saying that they got some piece of information from sources close to Harry and Meghan, friends of Prince Harry and Meghan. In reality, they had intercepted voicemails. In reality, they had hacked phones. My family. And therefore, you are having situations of, broken relationships because of the UK tabloid press. A number of victims, of phone hacking have said that relationships were destroyed. Trust was broken among friends because They thought that somehow their friends were the ones leaking stories about them to the press. In reality, their phones were being hacked. So my family, the tabloid media have this habit of blaming the victim for their own actions, for the actions of the abusers. My family, Daily Fail knows how much money they have paid Thomas Markle. Daily Fail knows how much money they have paid Samantha Markle for negative comments about Harry and Meghan. They know they paid a fortune to them. As a matter of fact, someone Rex, my family, who worked with Meghan, was offered up to $70,000 by UK tabloids to lie that he had slept with Meghan. $70,000. Now, if he was offered $70,000, imagine how much has Thomas Markle been offered? How much has Samantha Markle been offered? Because they don't go and do interviews attacking Meghan for free. They don't attack Meghan for free. They get paid to attack and badmouth Meghan. And that is a fact. My family. And that is a true fact. And here you're having people who pay others to abuse Meghan, being like, Meghan, why can't you speak to him? He's your father. And then they're the ones who are paying him to abuse Meghan. They're the ones who are willing to pay for Thomas Markle to fly from Mexico to the UK to harass Meghan. I recall even what happened, around the time of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, my family. I recall what happened around the time of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, whereby GB Propaganda, Dan Hutton, and this Colin Campbell wanted Thomas Markle to come and harass Meghan. But a phone call was made by the palace, and they destroyed those plans. The palace did not want the public to talk about, the drama surrounding Thomas Markle, his harassment of Meghan. Because if he did come, my family, the Queen's Platinum Jubilee would have been turned into drama about Thomas Markle's harassment of Meghan. And the palace never ever wanted that. They wanted that day to be about the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. About the palace. The palace doesn't like, senior members, the royal family, like the Queen being overshadowed by, Harry and Meghan, or Charles being overshadowed by Harry and Meghan, or William being overshadowed by Harry and Meghan. They don't like that one bit. And so my family, they called GB, told them, drop those plans, and they did. So my family, you know what? Meghan has every right in the entire world to say that, hey, look, I don't want this person in my life. I don't want Thomas Markle in my life. And don't forget, it was because of that case that Meghan had against Daily Mail for illegally publishing Meghan's letter, that Meghan suffered a miscarriage because of the stress caused because of that case versus Daily Mail. One must never, can never, ever forget that Meghan suffered the pain of losing her unborn child. One cannot forget that Meghan suffered the pain of losing a child, my family. So my family, not speaking to Thomas Markle, my family, Meghan is doing the right thing. You owe nothing to your abusers. You owe nothing to people who much rather work with those who bully their own child rather than protect their own child from bullies and abusers. A real dad is supposed to protect their daughter, not join into the abuse of their own child. A real dad must have seen the toll that Meghan went through, the toll it took, all this abuse took, my family. Meghan suffered a miscarriage. Meghan thought of taking her own life instead of that father demanding the abusers, bullies, to stop attacking his daughter. Instead, he takes money to abuse, harass Meghan, attack Meghan, and also attack Meghan's husband. Somehow thinking that will make Prince Harry speak to them. My family, it won't happen. It won't happen. And my family, why is it that nobody asks for a photo of Thomas Markle with his other grandchildren? Because Archie and Lilibet, you can't say are his only grandkids. You can't say that. There's Ashley, Samantha's daughter. There's Noelle, Samantha's daughter. Both kids who have been raised far away from Samantha. You have them, yet nobody ever asks, hey, where's Thomas' picture with his grandchildren, Ashley? You know? Nobody asked about that. But everyone, meaning tabloids, they want a photo of Thomas with Lilibet and Archie. That way, they can be able to profit and make money off of those two beautiful kids, my family. Harry and Meghan will protect their kids. Harry and Meghan will protect the kids from abusers, from bullies, from failed fathers and human beings like Thomas Markle. Harry and Meghan will protect the kids. And my family, their kids are far better off, far away from Thomas Markle and the UKW press, and also Prince William, Charles, Kate, and Cabela. Their kids are better off far away from those abusers. And my family, never let anyone make you believe or think that you owe something to your abusers. You owe nothing to your abusers. Expose your abusers and stay away from them. Keep your distance from them. And Meghan is right to cut off toxic people from her life. As a matter of fact, if there's one thing that I admire so much about Meghan, it's her no-nonsense approach. You want to side with tabloid media? Of course, you've hurt me. But guess what? I'm never going to speak to you ever again. Never. I want nothing to do with you. My family, I like that about Meghan. I like that so much about Meghan, my family. You'll have no presence in my life. I like that about Meghan. Don't entertain your abusers even one bit. Don't allow them to even think you'll have some access into their lives. Thomas Markle, in Harry's memoir Sperm, Harry tells us that Meghan already has grieved you. It's high time you accept that it's over. And it's not Meghan's fault, it's your fault. It's not even just the tabloid's fault, it's your fault. It's your fault. And Thomas Markle, you only have yourself to blame for not being in Meghan's life. Not even just the tabloids. No, it is Thomas Markle in particular. It's his fault that he is not in Meghan's life. It's his fault himself. It's his choice. He chose tabloids over his own daughter. He chose 30 pieces of silver over Meghan. So my family, he needs to learn to live with these choices, the choices that he has made himself. Thomas Markle, you made your bed. So keep lying on the bed that you made yourself, for yourself. My family, I love Meghan's approach to people who abuse and bully her. To the point that they even have to go to court to try and see Meghan because they want to see Meghan. Like what Samantha Markle, has been doing. They even want to go to court just to try and see Meghan, just to sit next to Meghan. No nonsense approach. Don't speak or entertain your abusers. Don't speak or entertain your abusers. Never ever bow to your abusers. Because if Meghan had bowed to Samantha Markle's abuse, or Grant Rasmussen, whatever name she goes by, if she had bowed down to her abuse, my family, Meghan, would have been a prisoner all her life. Never ever bow down to your abusers. So my family, I believe that I've said enough, my family. Thomas Markle chose his bed, Richard K. And he needs to lie on the bed that he chose. Meghan did not discard Thomas Markle. Thomas Markle discarded himself away from Meghan's life when he chose the tablets, 30 pieces of silver coming from abusers' tablets and senior members of the royal family, like Prince William, over his own daughter. Don't forget, we learned that Thomas Markle had someone, at the palace, Jason North, William's, employee, the same one who issued a statement against Meghan in court. My family, never forget. And so my family, Meghan owes nothing to her abusers. And I love her approach. Don't entertain your abusers. Don't allow them ever into your life or near your kids. Protect your peace. Protect your mental health. I'm happy that is what Meghan has done. I believe I've said enough, my family. No weapon formed against Harry, Meghan, Archie, Libedana, and Gloria Ragland shall ever prosper. Stay tuned to our next video. Hate never wins, love wins. Choose love. Harry and Meghan have chosen love, not hate. And have chosen each other, their kids, and not to surround themselves with people with hate inside of them, like Thomas Markle. And Harry and Meghan have made the right choice. Stay tuned to our next video. Love you always and forever. Hello, members of This Family TV. First of all, I want to say thank you for all your support that you give us to our channel. We don't take it for granted that you support this channel. I want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for lending out your support and fighting against injustices, supporting Prince Harry and Meghan, showing them love. Love will always triumph over evil, and for that I say thank you. Good will always prevail over bad. Thank you so much for all your support. Thank you so much for joining this community, this amazing community of Zesco Family TV. I love you so much, family, from the bottom of my heart, and I wish you all the best. May you have a great day, and I hope that you enjoyed this video and learned a lot of things. With that and so much more, stay tuned to our next video. Leave a comment below, like, and subscribe. Love you, family, always and forever. Sayonara.